Assalamu alaikum. This is Pratusha Burwal welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Advisory Council approves Prevention of Sexual Harassment in Workplaces and Educational Institutions Ordinance 2026 and Prevention of Domestic Violence Ordinance 2026. Repatriation only solution to Rohingya crisis, says Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus as UNHCR representative calls on him. Election Commission completes preparations to hold fair elections, says EC Senior Secretary. BNP Chairman Tariq Rahman calls upon people to prevent conspiracy of sabotaging elections. People to vote in favor of them who will make country's wealth and honor safe, expects Jamaat Amir. Employment to be created and discrimination in jobs eliminated, hope new female voters of Chattogram. US President Trump warns of more serious attacks against Iran if nuclear deal not reached. And New Zealand beat India by 50 runs in 4th T20 International in Visakhapatnam. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. The Council of Advisors at its weekly meeting gave approval to 6 ordinances, 3 proposals and a policy. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus chaired the meeting at his office in the city's Tejgaon area this morning. Later, Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafqul Alam briefed the media at the Foreign Service Academy, saying the Advisory Council discussed 11 important agendas and gave approval to them. He said the meeting gave approval to drafts of the Prevention of Sexual Harassment at the Workplace and Educational Institutions Ordinance 2026, the Domestic Violence Prevention Ordinance 2026, the National Sports Council Amendment Ordinance 2026, the Bangladesh Animal and Animal Products Smuggling Prevention Ordinance 2026, the Narayanganj Development Authority Ordinance 2026, and the Kumilla Development Authority Ordinance 2026. The Advisory Council approved a proposal to declare March 23 of the every year as BNCC Day, while it also approved another proposal through withdraw the declarations submitted by Bangladesh in 1994 under the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman and Degrading Treatment or Punishment, CAT. The meeting also approved a proposal for Bangladesh to become a party to the Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction 1980. Besides, the Advisory Council took a decision to open a new mission in Guyana, a Caribbean country, at the level of Charge d'Affaires of First Secretary by deploying officials from existing Bangladeshi embassies and missions. It also approved the draft of the import policy under Order 2025-2028, the draft of which was approved. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus has said that the repatriation of more than 1 million Rohingyas to their homeland in Myanmar's Rakhine state remains the only viable and sustainable solution to the crisis. He urged the UN Refugee Agency to continue its active engagement to facilitate their safe return. The Chief Advisor made the remarks when the newly appointed country representative of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, Yuval Frazen, paid a courtesy call on him at the State Guest House Yamuna on Wednesday. During the meeting, the UNHCR representative highlighted the dramatic decline in aid for Rohingyas living in camps in Bangladesh's southeastern district of Cox's Bazar and stressed the need for greater self-reliance and livelihood opportunities in the settlements. Professor Yunus said the Rohingya crisis was not receiving the attention it deserved, despite the interim government of Bangladesh organizing a series of high-profile events over the past year, including a visit by the UN Secretary-General to the camps during Ramadan, which helped draw international focus to the humanitarian issue. He said, prolonged stay of the Rohingyas in the camps could never be a solution, as it had already created tensions with host communities and called for renewed international efforts to ensure repatriation. The problem began in Myanmar, and the solution must also come from there. A frustrated and angry young generation is growing up in the camps with access to technology. The meeting also covered the Rohingya situation in Pashanchar, the upcoming general elections and referendum, the country's democratic transition. Professor Yunus noted that many Rohingyas had fled Pashanchar Island and blended into the mainland population, creating new challenges. Ivo Friesen said that Berham Saleh, the newly appointed UNHCR chief, has expressed keen interest in visiting Bangladesh in the near future and is expected to travel the Rohingya camps. The country will hold its much-awaited 13th parliamentary elections and referendum in a few days. The Election Commission has completed all preparations for the election, which remains the focal point of public interest nationwide. Senior Secretary of the Election Commission Akhtar Ahmed told BTV News that the Commission has taken all necessary measures to deliver a free, fair and acceptable election. The Election Commission views artificial intelligence as the biggest challenge in this election. In this regard, EC Secretary Akhtar Ahmed said that special measures have been taken to prevent the misuse of AI. He added that ballot papers and other election materials are being dispatched to polling centers well ahead of time rather than just a day before the election. He said the Election Commission is fully prepared to address all challenges to ensure a smooth election process. Above all, the current Commission aims at completing a free, fair and credible election to the people of the country. The interim government has expressed deep concern over the violent incident in Sherpur on Wednesday that resulted in the death of a political activist of Jamaat-e-Islami and pledged to take legal actions against the perpetrators. Any loss of life linked to violence is unacceptable and deeply regrettable, said a statement issued by the Chief Advisor's press wing today. With the national election only 2 weeks away, the government called on all political parties, including BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami, to show responsible leadership and ensure restraint among their supporters. Violence, intimidation, and loss of life have no place in a democratic process, the statement said, adding, police in Sherpur have launched an investigation into the clashes and the murder. All preparatory will be brought to justice, it said, adding, security in the district has been stepped up. All parties, leaders and campaigners must play their role in maintaining peace, respecting the rule of law and engaging voters through peaceful and constructive means, the statement said, stressing that the future of nation depends on calm, discipline and democratic conduct from all sides. The interim government remains committed to ensuring a peaceful, free and fair election, it added. Leaders of journalist organizations from the print and electronic media held a meeting with Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin. The meeting was held today at the conference room of the Election Commission Secretariat in Agargaon. During the meeting, the Chief Election Commissioner said that transparency in the election would be ensured if journalists carry out monitoring. He added that the Commission would make news gathering easier for journalists. After the meeting, Dhaka Journalist Union DUJ President Shahidul Islam and Reporters Forum for Election and Democracy RFED President Qazi Jabal briefed journalists. They said that the Election Commission has introduced an online registration system to issue cards and vehicle stickers to journalists assigned to election coverage. But the system is flawed and it will not be possible to provide cards and stickers to journalists in a timely manner through this process. The journalist leaders said they have demanded that cards and vehicle stickers be issued following the previous system. The Chief Election Commissioner assured them that the issues would be reviewed and the problems resolved. BNP Chairman Tariq Rahman has pledged to waive agricultural loans to up to 10,000 including interest if his party comes to power in the upcoming parliamentary election. He made the promise today at an election rally held at the historic Madrasa Maidan in Rajshahi. Speaking at the rally, Tariq Rahman said that if the past 17 years mega corruption has taken place in the name of mega projects, he noted that the Birendra project, which was initiated under Ziaur Rahman and expanded during Khaleda Zia's tenure, has now been cancelled. He said that if BNP comes to power, the party wants to revive the Birendra project, excavate canals, and enrich the Podar River. Addressing the people living along the Podar River, he also promised to construct the Podar Barrage. In addition, Tariq Rahman spoke about establishing cold storage facilities for Rajshahi mangoes and creating employment opportunities. He therefore called on voters to elect Dhanishesh candidates in every constituency across the northern region. In his speech, Tariq Rahman clearly stated that BNP believes in peace and does not want conflict or unrest. That's why he is not criticizing anyone. He also urged the government to conduct fair investigations into any untoward incidents and to ensure justice in accordance with the country's laws. Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami Amir Dr. Shafiqur Rahman expressed optimism that people would give their verdict in the next parliamentary elections in favor of those who ensure the safety of citizens' wealth and dignity. He made the remarks today while inaugurating Jamaat-e-Islami's political office and a mobile campaign vehicle at Mirpur 10 in the capital. Central leaders of Jamaat-e-Islami and local leaders of Dhaka 15 constituency were present on the occasion. Later, Dr. Shafiqur Rahman addressed a roadside rally targeting voters and party activists in his constituency and went around the area by riding on the mobile campaign vehicle, canvassing along the roads of his electoral zone. Only 2 weeks left before the next 13th National Parliament election. 18-year-old Sarah Rahman will cast her first vote for the first time in this election. Her eyes are filled with excitement, waiting for the day to arrive as if she can't wait anymore. Out of a total of 12 crore 76 lakh voters in this election, more than 6 crore 28 lakh are female ones. Among them are young women who will be voting for the first time. For young women, this election is not just about changing power, but also about reforming the state. The July uprising has created a determination to build a Bangladesh without discrimination in the future. Many say that the hopes of the July uprising cannot be allowed to fail. Employment creation is the main demand of young women voters. In addition, they are also demanding a non-discriminatory recruitment process in government and private jobs based on merit. However, the demand for not only voting rights but also for increasing women's representation in politics is also growing stronger. The power of youth that was seen on the streets in building a new Bangladesh will be reflected in the next election. Young voters are no longer looking for party affiliation, but rather personal integrity and action plans to evaluate candidates. They are no longer willing to be swayed by promises. They want a leadership that will ensure safe lives, job creation, and digital security. The European Union Election Observation Mission, currently in Bangladesh to monitor the upcoming national parliamentary election, visited Bangladesh television today. Led by Agnes Doka, media analyst of EU Election Observation Mission, the observer team held a meeting with BTV Director General Mohammad Mahbubul Alam. The meeting focused on the role of the media during the election period, neutrality of information, and professional standards of journalism. The observers emphasized the responsibilities of state-owned media and their crucial role in the electoral process. Later, the EU observer team visited a 2-day training program on disinformation being organized at Bangladesh television. Senior officials of Bangladesh television were present during the visit. The International Crimes Tribunal 1 has taken cognizance of charges against 8 individuals, including Sheikh Hasina and Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal, in connection with the killing of 9 people in a staged militant drama at Jahajbari in Kollanpur in 2016 and has issued arrest warrants against the absconding accused. The order was issued today by Tribunal 1, headed by Justice Ghulam Murtuza Mojumdar. Meanwhile, the same tribunal has fixed 3 February for the next round of arguments in the case of the killing of 2 people, including Amir Hussain, whose body was found hanging from a cornice in Rampura during the July mass uprising. The date was set today after the prosecution concluded its arguments. In another development, International Crimes Tribunal 1 has directed 28 accused, including Sheikh Fazli Nur Tapush and Jahangir Kobi Nanak, to appear before the tribunal by 17 February by publishing notices in newspapers in a case involving crimes against humanity of the killing of 9 people, including martyrs Farhan Fayaz, Mahmudur Rahman Shoykot during the July mass uprising. On the other hand, testimony was recorded in a case filed against 4 individuals, including Mahbubul Alam Hanif, on 3 specific charges of crimes against humanity, including the killing of 6 people in Kushtia during the July 24 mass uprising of students and the public. At Tribunal 2, headed by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhry, testimony began this morning for the 7th consecutive day in an in-camera trial. Earlier, the tribunal recorded testimony on the 6th day of the in-camera trial on 21st January. Additionally, in another case of the crimes against humanity related to the killing of 28 people in Rampura during the July mass uprising, Tribunal 1 recorded the 2nd day of the testimony against 4 accused, including former border guard Bangladesh BGB officer Ridwanul Islam. Meanwhile, Tribunal 1 also held the 4th day of testimony today in a case filed against 13 accused, including Sheikh Hasina and army officers, over allegations of enforced disappearance and torture at the Joint Interrogation Cell JIC during the tenure of the fascist Awami League government. In this case, defense lawyers for the accused army officers completed the remaining cross-examination of Hasanur Rahman, a former army officer who was a victim of enforced disappearance. Early, the tribunal recorded his deposition on 25 and 27 January. On 19 January, BNP leader Humam Kadir Chaudhry, another victim of enforced disappearance, gave the first testimony in this case. This morning, 10 arrested accused in these cases were produced before the tribunal. The High Court has ruled that the process of signing a contract between the Chattogram Port Authority and the foreign company for the operation of the new mooring container terminal is legal. The High Court bench of Justice Zafar Ahmed delivered the verdict today. As a result, there is no legal obstacle to continuing the ongoing activities related to the contract process. Earlier on 4 December last year, a High Court bench comprising Justice Fatima Najib and Justice Fatima Anwar delivered a split verdict on a writ petition filed in this regard. Senior Justice Fatima Najib declared the contract-related process illegal, while Justice Fatima Anwar dissented and dismissed the writ petition. Later, the then Chief Justice Dr. Syed Rifat Ahmed referred the matter to a single bench of Justice Zafar Ahmed for disposal. Last year, a writ petition was filed by Mirza Walid Hussain, president of the Bangladesh Youth Economist Forum, challenging the legality of the process to hand over to the new mooring container terminal to a foreign company. Now, international news. US President Donald Trump is delaying a major new strike on Iran after preliminary discussions between Washington and Tehran over limiting the country's nuclear program and ballistic missile production failed to make progress. Trump's latest threats were met with indignation by Tehran, which vowed an immediate response to any U.S. military action, with one top advisor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei threatening to target Israel if an attack goes ahead. Trump on Wednesday posted on Truth Social demanding that Iran come to the table to negotiate a fair and equitable deal, no nuclear weapons. He warned the next U.S. attack on the country will be far worse than the one it carried last summer, when the U.S. military attacked 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. U.S. military airstrikes aimed at Iran's leaders and security officials believed to be responsible for the killings, as well as strikes on Iranian nuclear sites and government institutions. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer says the relationship between the UK and China is in a good, strong place after productive talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in Beijing. Starmer says progress has been made on issues including whiskey tariffs and visa-free travel to China, after earlier saying the two countries must build a more sophisticated relationship. China President Xi says there have been twists and turns in China-UK ties, but engagement is unavoidable. Starmer has been touring the Forbidden City and witnessed the signing of agreement with Chinese Premier Li Qiang. Xi and Starmer are also expected to sign off on a border security pact to disrupt the supply of small boat engines. A passenger plane has crashed in northern Colombia, killing all 15 people on board, the country's state-run airline Satena confirmed. In a statement, it said its aircraft, a Beechcraft 1900, suffered a fatal accident but gave no further details. The wreckage has now been located in a mountainous area. The official passenger list includes lawmaker Dionysius Quintero Amaya and Carlos Salcedo, candidate in upcoming congressional elections. Satena earlier said contact with the plane was lost 11 minutes before it had been scheduled to land in the city of Ocasa, near the Venezuelan border, at 5 minutes past 12 local time on Wednesday. According to the airline, flight NSE 8849 took off from the city of Cucuta, about 100 km northeast from Ocaña, carrying 13 passengers and 2 crew members. A search operation was immediately launched in the mountainous area, and a hotline was set up for the relatives of those who were on the plane. Colombia's armed forces have been helping with the search effort in the area where the plane went missing.